Hey guys, I'm Matt from Spot and welcome to week 12 of the Premier League review. We are finally back after a 2-week break because of an international break. So if you are new with this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the Premier League top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 18th, Sunday the 19th, and Monday the 20th of November 2017. Also next to the games are their times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific game, just go to the time next to the match and you skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Manchester United versus Newcastle. Manchester United went into this game having not conceded at home in the Premier League all season, so I think everyone was surprised when Newcastle took the lead in the 14th minute. It was a lovely run by Yedlin on the right, who cut the ball back past the falling Lindelof and into the path of Dwight Gale, and he steered the ball into the bottom corner from 12 yards out. But Manchester United levelled the game up in the 37th minute when Pogba had the ball on the right hand side. He got a yard of space and he dinked the ball towards the far post, and Anthony Martial rose higher than his man and headed into the bottom corner. And Man United took the lead in the brink of half time when Chris Smalling got the goal. It came from a corner that was taken short. Ashley Young put the ball in and it went straight to the back post and straight onto the head of Smalling, and he headed home from close range. And Man United pulled away from Newcastle 10 minutes into the second half when Paul Pogba made it 3-1. It came when Juan Mata released Romelu Lukaku down the right side, and he did well to find Rashford at the back post. Rashford then unselfishly chipped the ball back across goal for Pogba, who headed home from point blank range. And Man United killed the game off in the 71st minute when Romelu Lukaku finally found the net. After 7 games without a goal, the Belgian needed this one as he played a lovely 1-2 with Juan Mata, and Lukaku took it round his man and smashed it into the roof of the net. And that's how the game ended. A pretty comfortable match for the hosts in the end despite the early scare. A lot of returns for United in this match, with Paul Pogba coming back and winning man of the match, and in the last 10 minutes Zlatan Ibrahimovic made his triumphant return after his knee injury earlier this year, so the rest of the season looks good if you're a United fan. And we move on to West Brom versus Chelsea. Chelsea took the lead in the 17th minute when Alvaro Morata got his 8th league goal of the season. Eden Hazard started the move after he wriggled free the challenge from Gareth Barry and fired a left-footed shot across the box that Ben Foster can only parry into the path of Morata, and he tucked the rebound home. And Chelsea doubled their lead 5 minutes later when Eden Hazard went from maker to scorer. Cesc Fabregas slipped the ball through to Morata, who flicked it onto Hazard. Hazard then rounded Ben Foster and finished with his left. And Chelsea got their third 5 minutes before half-time when Marcus Alonso made it 3-0. It came from a free kick won by Alvaro Morata on the edge of the box, and Cesc Fabregas stepped up to take it. He curled it towards the back post where Alonso was unmarked, and he cushioned the ball home with a volley. And Chelsea got their 4th in the 62nd minute when Eden Hazard got his 2nd of the match. The main man of the game was Cesc Fabregas, who was pulling all of the strings, and this goal was no different as the Spaniard lofted the ball over the top to Hazard, who took a touch before cutting inside, faking the shot, and then stroking the ball into the corner. And that's how the game ended. You could have called this match off at half-time, as West Brom was simply dire. They never challenged the Chelsea backline and looked like they had given up after the second one went in. Chelsea are on a good run of form in the league recently, with them winning 4 on the bounce, whereas it's quite the opposite for West Brom, who haven't won a game in all competitions since the 22nd of August, which equates to 11 games. And that run concludes Tony Pulis' time as West Brom manager, as last night they confirmed that they have parted ways and are looking for a new boss. To be fair, it has been coming. West Brom play such a boring style of football. They never seem to play for a win. They always go into games looking for a point, and I know that's the Pulis way, but it's just a terrible style of football, to be fair. But the bad run of form has led to Pulis being fired, and I'd say it's probably the right time. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Huddersfield. The first goal of this one is surrounding a bit of controversy, as Huddersfield wanted a free kick when they felt I have butchered that, but look at that name. Tell me how the you pronounce that. But anyway, Huddersfield players felt he was fouled on the halfway line, but the referee isn't interested as play continues and Bournemouth go on to win a corner. However, judging by the replays, it really should have been a free kick, as it was a pretty nasty tackle with Stud showing it could have caused serious injury. They also weren't happy that Bournemouth were allowed to take the corner whilst he wasn't on the pitch. Despite that though, Jordan Ibe took the corner, and it was a superb corner to the back post, and on the end of it with Callum Wilson, who powered his header beyond the keeper. And Bournemouth doubled their lead 5 minutes later when Callum Wilson got his 2nd. Bournemouth yet again capitalised on some bad defending from a set piece, but this time it was Andrew Sermon who put the ball in the box, and the ball went past pretty much all of the Huddersfield defenders before falling to Wilson at the back post, who smashed a volley past the keeper. But Bournemouth have to play extra hard in the second half as they were reduced to 10 men when Simon Francis got sent off. It came when a ball was played a little short to Francis and Van La Parra nipped in to take it away from him, and Francis brought down with a trailing leg. It was a pretty needless foul to give away, and having only been booked 10 minutes earlier, there's really no dispute in this one. But Bournemouth did get their 3rd in the 17th minute when Harry Arter punished some horrible Huddersfield defending. It came when Malone tried to dribble the ball away from danger, but Harry Arter nipped him to take the ball off of him. The Irish midfielder then advanced towards goal, ignored the shouts from Joshua King asking for the pass, and he smacked the ball into the bottom corner. And Bournemouth got their fourth 10 minutes later when Callum Wilson completed his hat-trick. Again when Joshua King held the ball up brilliantly inside the Huddersfield box, holding off 3 men in the process before laying the ball off to Callum Wilson, who lashed his shot into the back of the net. And that's how the game ended, and what a return for Wilson, making only his second Premier League start since rupturing his ACL back in February, to come back and score a hat-trick. Not a bad return. Huddersfield did have a lot more shots, with them having 10 more than Bournemouth, but Bournemouth had more shots on target, which goes to show how wasteful Huddersfield were. Bournemouth did get a few lucky decisions in this match, but still, those decisions wouldn't have made a difference for Huddersfield, as they simply couldn't finish their dinner anyway. And we move on to Liverpool versus Southampton. Liverpool took the lead in the 30th minute when Dusan Tadic sloppily gave the ball away on the edge of the area to Bobby Firmino. It fell to Ragnar Klavan, who gave the ball to Gini Wijnaldum, and the Dutch midfielder then found the Egyptian god, that is Mohamed Salah. Salah then cut onto his left foot before curling the ball into the far corner past Fraser Forster. And Liverpool doubled their lead 10 minutes later when Mo Salah got his second of the match. It was a simple goal as Felipe Coutinho had the ball in a bit of space and he played it through to Salah with the outside of his foot. Salah timed his run perfectly as he took a touch and dinked the ball over the onrushing Forster and into the back of the net. And Liverpool wrapped the game up in the 68th minute when Phil Coutinho made it 3-0. It started with Sadio Mane, who played a lovely reverse pass to Roberto Firmino in a ton of space. Firmino took the shot that was saved by Forster, but he can only parry it into the path of Coutinho, who stroked home. And that's how the game ended. A very comfortable win in the end for Liverpool, as they managed to keep out Southampton for a majority of the game, with them only having 5 shots and none of them on target. Liverpool are finally finding some consistency this season, with them winning their last 4 league games and all of them being by 3 goals. Mo Salah yet again shining, and now I have no doubt that Salah is the buy of the season. Come and fight me. He's Liverpool's top goal scorer, he's the Premier League top goal scorer, and going from a Chelsea reject to a player that Chelsea wish they had back, it's good time at Anfield. And we move on to Brighton versus Stoke. Brighton were just starting to threaten the Stoke defence, but Stoke nipped that one in the bud when they took the lead in the 28th minute. It came from a long ball over the top from Xherdan Shaqiri, and it's taken well by Eric Chouamani. He gets around Lewis Dunk and put the ball past Matty Ryan into the Brighton net. But Brighton equalised in the 44th minute when Pascal Gross put them level. Minute after Brighton should have had a penalty, when Ryan Shawcross lunged in on Glenn Murray and nothing was given, despite the fact that he got nothing of the ball and did seem to connect with his man. But anyway, justice was given when they got the goal. Davi Proper made his way to the right corner flag before putting a low cross into the box, and on the end of it was Pascal Gross, whose shot wasn't the best as it was right at Lee Grand, but it somehow goes underneath the keeper and into the back of the net. But Stoke retook the lead in the brink of half-time through defender Kurt Zouma. Only 2 minutes separate the 2 goals as the corner was put into the box by Darren Fletcher. The ball is headed back across goal, and the Brighton defenders failed to deal with it as Kurt Zouma came in to head home from close range for his first goal for Stoke. But Brighton levelled the game up for the second time as Brighton's record signing Izquierdo got the goal. It came from a diagonal ball that Kurt Zouma doesn't deal with, and he doesn't cover himself in much more glory as a second later a ball is slipped past him by Glenn Murray to Izquierdo. The Colombian shot is blocked initially by Kevin Wimmer, but his second bite of the apple is good as he sends it into the back of the net. And that's how the game ended. A very entertaining game from Monday night, and I know Jack was tweeting this one, followers, and I know that he thoroughly enjoyed watching this one. It literally had everything you would want. You know, there's a bit of feistiness in there, you know, a bit of controversy, and a couple of goals. Brighton were unlucky not to have a penalty for that decision, but Brighton did well to fight back twice and pick up a well-earned point. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Everton. It was a rapid-fire start for Crystal Palace, as only 1 minute into the match they took the lead through James McArthur. To be precise, it was 56 seconds into the match. Ruben Loftus-Cheek did well to get free of Phil Jagielka and took a shot that was saved by Jonathan Pickford, but it fell straight to McArthur, who tapped into the net. And only 5 minutes later, Everton got a penalty, and for the second game in a row, Everton have had a penalty that shouldn't have been given. Oumar Niasse went past Scott Dan and then just went over under very little contact, if there was any. And he has been banned, which we'll get onto later. But Leighton Baines did step up to take it, and he blasted the ball past Julian Speroni and into the back of the net. But Palace retook the lead half an hour later when Wilfried Zaha made it 2-1. It came when Andros Townsend gave the ball to Joe Ward, and his cross is flashed in front of Pickford, and it was poked into the net by Zaha. But Everton levelled the game up in the 45th minute after the Palace back line had a nightmare. Speroni looked to play out from the back and gave it to Scott Dan. Dan lost the ball to Idrissa Gueye. The ball fell loose to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who fed the ball through to Oumar Niasse, and he slotted past the keeper. And that's how the game ended. A pretty dire second half with nothing really happening. Crystal Palace were the better side of the first half, but all of the problems that Everton caused came from mistakes from Palace. Both sides had some chances to win the contest, but both teams came away with a point apiece. And now on to Oumar Niasse, who has been banned. It's literally like just happened 10 minutes before I started to record. Oumar Niasse has been charged by the FA for diving for that penalty. It'll do little to help Crystal Palace right now because, you know, they're still going to get a point, but at least now it's a warning for the players that the FA are willing to ban people after the game. And we move on to Arsenal versus Tottenham. The weekend got off to a heavyweight game as Arsenal welcomed Tottenham in the North London derby, and it was Arsenal who took the lead in the 35th minute. It came from a free kick and it was questionable defending from Tottenham. That's putting it nicely, as Mesut Ozil put the free kick in, and on the end of it was Shkodran Mustafi, who looped his header back across goal and into the net via the post. And 5 minutes later, Arsenal doubled their lead when Alexis Sanchez got the goal. Lacazette got behind the Tottenham defence with ease. He cut the ball back to Sanchez. His first touch wasn't the best, but Hugo Lloris doesn't come off of his line quick enough, and the Chilean was able to recover in that time and smack the ball into the roof of the net. And that's how the game ended. Arsenal claimed the bragging right in the first North London derby of the season after a brilliant performance from the Gunners and a very lacklustre one from Spurs. Arsenal deserved the win. Tottenham were very poor in pretty much all areas of the field, and the win for Arsenal has closed the gap between these two teams to just the 1 point. And we move on to Leicester versus Manchester City. Manchester City should have taken the lead earlier in the match as they had been knocking on the door of the Leicester defence, but they weren't able to get through until just before half time when Gabriel Jesus put the visitors ahead. It was a tiki-taka goal as Sterling played a 1-2 with Kevin De Bruyne before threading the ball through to David Silva. Silva then squared the ball to a completely unmarked Jesus, who tapped into the net. And Man City doubled their lead 5 minutes into the second half when Kevin De Bruyne got on the score sheet. Leicester had just been down the other end and had some decent chances, but they weren't able to take them, and City went on the break with Leroy Sané on the left side. He picked out Kevin De Bruyne at the far side of the box and he hammered the ball into the back of the net. And that's how the game ended in another week where I feel like I'm saying, who can stop Manchester City? They're the only team left in the league who are unbeaten. They've won their last 10 league games on the trot and they're 8 points clear of second. If Man City don't go on to win the league, I will be shocked. And we move on to Watford versus West Ham. West Ham would have wanted to put on a good performance for their new manager David Moyes, but it wasn't to be, as 11 minutes into the match Watford took the lead when Will Hughes got his first goal for the Hornets. It came when Ziegler, butchered that one as well, played the ball to Richarlison. The Brazilian returned it to Ziegler and he lobbed the ball into the box. Hughes went up for the initial header but he missed out. It fell to Andrew Gray, but he completely miscued the shot and it fell perfectly into the path of Hughes, who fired the shot past Joe Hart. And Watford doubled their lead 20 minutes into the second half when Richarlison got the goal. Yet again, Will Hughes was involved as he released Richarlison down the left wing. Richarlison squared up to Winston Reid, easily darted past him, and then fired a left foot shot back across the goal and into the bottom corner. And that's how the game ended. West Ham still can't win, and to be honest, they're really lucky to finish this match with 11 men on the pitch, as Andy Carroll should have been sent off twice. The first one only like 6 seconds into the match when he elbowed Ziegler in the face, and again only 5 minutes later when yet again he caught somebody with his elbow, but this time in the ribs, and it was Cabasela. Why does the man always jump with his elbows out? I understand, if you jump now, I guarantee that your elbows will come out a little bit, but he's literally like, they're like 180-degree angle, like he's aiming for it. He's either doing it on purpose or he can't control his arms. Probably the second one. And finally, we've got Burnley versus Swansea. Burnley took the lead in this match on the half-hour mark when it was created and scored by Jack Cork. Cork started to move outside of the area and he fed the ball to Ashley Barnes, who was looking for Robbie Brady. However, Brady let the ball go past him and into the path of Jack Cork, who nodded home. And Burnley doubled their lead in the 40th minute through Ashley Barnes. It was a lapse of concentration for Swansea as they just let Burnley break them when Jeff Hendricks spotted the run of Ashley Barnes and he made his way to the edge of the area before lashing home the shot from outside of the box. And that's how the game ended. Another good win for Burnley, who are shocking everyone at the moment with how well they're doing. They're 7th, for Christ's sake. And it's quite the opposite tale at the other end of the table, with Swansea having lost their last 4 league games. Right, so that's all the games I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Manchester City are 8 points clear at the top after beating Leicester. Manchester United are 2nd after they beat Newcastle. Chelsea are 3rd after they breezed past West Brom. Tottenham are 4th despite the loss of their bitter rivals, and Liverpool make up the top 5 after they easily dispatched Southampton, also known as their B team. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Crystal Palace are still at the bottom after their draw with Everton. Swansea are 19th after they got beat by Burnley. West Ham make up the relegation zone after they were beat by Watford. West Brom are 17th and without a manager following their heavy loss to Chelsea, and Everton make up the bottom 5 following their draw with Crystal Palace. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, the Egyptian god Mohamed Salah is at the top, following another double this week against Southampton that took him up to 9 goals and 2 assists. Alvaro Morata is 2nd after he got a goal against West Brom that took him up to 8 goals and 4 assists. Joy Joint third is Sergio Aguero and Romelu Lukaku, both on 8 goals and 3 assists. And making up the top goal scorers is Gabriel Jesus on 8 goals and 1 assist. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League Review. If you want to follow us on Twitter to stay up to date when we upload a video or go live, you can. The link is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. I should be live tonight about, I think it's like 7:45. Whenever Liverpool versus Sevilla kicked off, I'm going to watch that because if Liverpool win, they qualify for the knockout rounds of the Champions League. So hopefully you will come and join me for that. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, you can. The links to those are in the description as well. All my channels should be popping onto your screen round about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.